Welcome to the long evenings of childhood, where the light lingered a little longer and the world felt wide but never overwhelming. Tonight, we return to the silent paths we once walked without hurry, the narrow roads edged with tall grass, the soft hum of insects at dusk, the steady glow of windows waiting in the distance. This is not a story about achievement or distance traveled. It is a story about being small in a large sky, about footsteps that did not need to prove anything, about the simple comfort of knowing you were expected home before the light was gone. Tonight, I don't need to solve anything. I don't need to explain, improve, or understand. I only need to listen and let the world grow quieter around me. As if the edges of the day are slowly softening and folding inward, in this story, I return to the silent roads I once walked as a child, paths that asked nothing of me and expected nothing in return. They did not measure my worth by how quickly I moved or how much I accomplished. They simply held my footsteps and allowed me to be there. I move again through warm evening air and gentle memory. I notice the bend in the narrow dirt road where tall grass lean toward each other as if sharing a secret. I see the old fence post worn smooth by passing hands. I feel the hush that arrived when the sun lowered itself behind distant trees, painting everything in gold that slowly deepened into blue. Nothing here demands explanation. Nothing rushes me forward. Even time seems to widen and breathe, and somewhere along the way, I remember something steady and simple, like a lamp glowing in a quiet room, that safety can live inside me. Even now, I begin with my breath. It moves in and out without effort, like a gentle tide that has no opinion about me, no demand, no deadline waiting at the edge of the shore. I notice the small rise in my chest, the soft pause at the top, and the easy release as the air leaves again. With each exhale, my shoulders settle a little lower, and my jaw loosens as if it has been holding a quiet conversation all day and is finally allowed to fall silent. My hands grow heavier in a comforting way, resting wherever they are, and I let my fingers uncurl without asking them to hold anything more. The world around me becomes background, still present, still real, but no longer reaching for my attention. Sounds can exist without needing to be solved. A distant hum, a faint movement of air, the soft settling of the room. Thoughts can drift past without needing to be followed. If something arrives in my mind, an unfinished task, a sentence I meant to send, a worry that insists it is urgent, I let it stand at the edge of the room like a coat on a hook. I don't have to put it on. I don't have to carry it into the night. I can leave it there, just for now. I imagine the feeling of walking without urgency, not the kind of walking that gets me somewhere fast, not the kind measured by time or distance, but the kind that lets me notice the small curve of a shadow on grass, the slow shift of light across a wall, the thin ribbon of wind moving against my skin. I remember how, as a child, I could take a road simply because it was there, simply because the evening had space for it. The destination did not matter. The pace did not matter. Only the steady permission to move slowly mattered, so I let my breathing set the rhythm, in and out, in and out. Each breath becomes a step that does not need to reach a finish line. Each exhale is a small letting go. I picture myself placing one foot and then the other, feeling the ground receive me, feeling my weight held without question. There is no test here. No audience. No scoreboard keeping track of how well I rest. There is only the quiet exchange between my body and the earth beneath it. My thoughts begin to soften at the edges. They lose their sharpness, their urgency. They become like distant houses seen from far away, their lights small and steady but no longer demanding that I knock on their doors. If one thought lingers too long, I guide it gently aside, the way I would move a branch out of my path. I do not argue with it. I do not chase it. I simply return to the steady rise and fall of breath. I notice the weight of my body supported completely. The chair, the bed, the floor, whatever holds me now does so without complaint. I allow myself to trust that support. I allow my spine to lengthen slightly, my neck to rest, my tongue to settle comfortably in my mouth. Even my eyes, whether open or closed, feel less alert, less watchful. There is nothing to achieve in this moment. I am not preparing for tomorrow. I am not reviewing yesterday. I am not rehearsing conversations or correcting old ones. I am here, in this single quiet space, where breathing is enough. Where being is enough, and as the rhythm continues, something subtle begins to change. The space inside me feels wider. The tight corners where worry usually sits begin to soften. My chest feels less guarded. My stomach less clenched. My heartbeat steadies into a calm, even pattern, like footsteps on a familiar road. I imagine the first steps of that walk again. The ground is firm but gentle beneath my feet. The air carries the warmth of a day that is slowly releasing its hold. I do not hurry. I do not look ahead to see how far I must go. I let the path unfold only as far as the next step, and then the next. There is comfort in not knowing the whole distance. There is comfort in trusting that the road will continue as long as I need it to. If my attention wanders, I return once more to breath, in and out, slowly, steadily. Tonight, I will walk like that again. It is evening, one of those evenings that arrive so slowly it feels as if the day itself is reluctant to let go. I remember how the light used to stretch thin across the fields, turning everything softer before it faded. The sky above me shifts from pale gold to a deeper blue, and I can almost see the colors blending, patient and unhurried. Nothing sharp remains in the light. Even the edges of houses and trees seem to breathe more quietly. The warmth of the day still lingers in the ground. I feel it rising faintly through the soles of my feet as if the earth itself is holding on to the memory of the sun. Tall grasses stand on both sides of the narrow road, their tips moving gently whenever the breeze passes through. They do not sway dramatically. They simply lean and return, like a slow conversation between wind and field. The air carries a scent I once knew without trying to name. Sun-warmed soil. Distant trees. A faint sweetness that might be clover or wildflowers or simply the memory of summer itself. I breathe it in, and something inside me recognizes it before my thoughts do. It is a scent tied to long days and longer evenings, to scraped knees and quiet recoveries, to laughter carried across open space and then absorbed into the sky. I am on a path I have not seen for many years. It does not appear all at once. It reveals itself gradually, as if remembered rather than discovered. A thin line of earth bending toward the horizon. Quiet. Patient. Waiting in the same way it always did. I realized that it never asked me to return. Never demanded that I remember it. It simply remained, somewhere inside me, unchanged. As I begin to walk, I notice how wide the world feels here. There are no crowded intersections, no flashing lights, no signals telling me when to stop or go. The road curves gently, and I follow its shape without question. My footsteps make a soft sound against the packed dirt, steady and even. Each step feels familiar, as if my body has kept a memory of this movement all along. In the distance, a single bird crosses the sky, its wings cutting quietly through the fading light. I watch it until it disappears, not because I need to, but because I can. Time does not press against me here. It opens. The houses that once lined parts of this road are smaller than I remember, yet they glow with the same quiet presence. Windows catch the last of the sunlight. Curtains hang loosely, barely stirring. Somewhere, a door closes gently, not with force, but with the soft finality of evening settling in. There is a stillness that is not empty. It is full of small, ordinary things, the hum of insects beginning their nightly chorus, the distant rustle of leaves, the faint shift of cooling air. I stand in the middle of it, not as an observer but as someone who belongs to it. I realize that when I was younger, I did not think of this place as meaningful. It was simply where I walked. Simply where I existed. Only now do I see how much it held me. How it gave me space to think without interruption, to feel without explanation, to be without performance. The sky deepens another shade. The first hint of twilight settles along the edges of the fields. I continue forward, not because I am searching for something, but because walking itself feels like enough, and as I move along this quiet road, I understand that it has not disappeared with time. It has waited inside me, steady and unchanged. Ready to open again the moment I allowed myself to slow down and return. In the world I am returning to, life unfolds in a rhythm so ordinary that it almost escapes notice. Morning begins not with alarms that startle, but with small layered sounds that gather gently. I remember the quiet click of a door opening somewhere down the hall. The soft rush of water running into a sink. The low hum of a kettle settling onto the stove. None of it is dramatic. None of it demands applause. It is simply the beginning of another day. Shoes rest near the threshold, slightly turned as if paused mid-step. Jackets hang on hooks without ceremony. A table stands ready to receive cups, plates, folded hands. People move through these spaces with an ease that comes from repetition. They do not narrate what they are doing. They do not explain the purpose of each gesture. They simply act, and the house responds in quiet cooperation. I remember how rules existed here, but they were not harsh or loudly declared. They were soft rules, carried in tone rather than volume. A glance that meant not now. A steady voice that meant be careful. A reminder offered without urgency, come back before the light is gone. I understood these rules not as boundaries meant to confine me, but as threads that kept the day woven together, afternoons stretched wide, sometimes filled with simple tasks. A floor swept slowly. Laundry folded in careful stacks. A window opened just enough to let the air move through. I often watched these small acts without realizing I was learning something from them. The rhythm of work done steadily. The quiet pride of completion. The way order can bring calm when it is not forced. Evenings, especially, belong to slow transitions. The brightness of the day eased itself downward. Shadows lengthened across walls and floors, not as something threatening, but as a sign that rest was approaching. The air cooled, brushing against my skin with a softness that felt like relief. Windows began to glow from within as lamps were switched on, one by one, turning houses into quiet lanterns along the road. I remember standing outside sometimes, watching those windows. Each one held its own small world, dinners being prepared, conversations drifting through rooms, someone turning pages in a book. From the outside, everything seemed contained and steady. No one hurried visibly. No one rushed toward the next hour. Time felt rounder then, less divided. The roads outside grew quieter as the evening deepened. Fewer footsteps. Fewer passing cars. The space between sounds widened until silence itself felt like a presence. These were the hours when I could walk without being noticed, when I could think without interruption. The road did not judge how slowly I moved. It did not ask why I paused or turned back. It accepted me exactly as I was. There was comfort in repetition. The same doors closing at similar times. The same lights dimming. The same quiet settling of the neighborhood as night approached. This predictability did not feel dull. It felt safe. It meant that tomorrow would likely arrive in the same way, with the same gentle sounds and steady movements. I realize now how much stability lived in those ordinary moments. They did not announce their importance. They did not mark themselves as memories in the making. Yet they formed the background against which I grew. They shaped my sense of what normal could be, calm, contained, dependable. As I walk through this remembered evening, I feel again the ease of belonging to a place where nothing spectacular needs to happen. Where being present is enough. Where life does not perform, but simply continues. And in that quiet continuation, I find something steady rising inside me, an understanding that the simple patterns of those days still exist within my memory, ready to steady me whenever I return to them. I was never truly alone on those silent roads. even when no one walked beside me. The world I moved through held a small circle of people whose presence felt as constant as the trees and fences lining the path. They did not always speak my name. They did not always stand within sight. Yet their existence shaped the air around me, and I carried the quiet knowledge of them wherever I went that I remember a parent watching without hovering. There was a certain distance they kept, close enough to notice, far enough to allow space. Their attention did not press against me. It rested lightly, like a hand placed on a table, ready but not intrusive. When I glanced back, I would sometimes find them standing near a doorway or leaning against a fence, not calling me in, not pushing me forward, simply making sure the world held steady. My mother moved through the evenings with a rhythm that felt unbreakable. Her steps were soft but certain, each motion part of a pattern she had practiced for years. She would finish the last tasks of the day without hurry. A dish set carefully into place. A cloth folded and smoothed. A light switched off with quiet intention. There was nothing dramatic in her movements, yet they carried a sense of completion, as though each small act sealed the day gently closed. There was a neighbor whose dog always settled at nearly the same hour. I remember the sound of its collar shifting as it lay down, the faint scrape of paws against the ground. That sound became part of the evening's language. It meant that another household was turning inward, another door was closing softly, another rhythm aligning with the approach of night. Someone older, perhaps a grandparent, existed within this world as well. Their chair waited in a familiar corner, worn slightly where hands had rested again and again. Even when empty, it felt occupied by memory. I would pass by it and feel a sense of continuity, as if time itself had chosen that place to pause. When they sat there, their presence was steady and unhurried. Words were few, but they were enough. A nod. A brief story. A quiet smile that required no explanation. I do not remember long conversations from those evenings. What I remember instead are fragments of sound. A soft call from a doorway letting me know it was nearly time to come in. The faint clink of a spoon against a cup. The low murmur of voices drifting from a kitchen where adults spoke in tones I could not fully understand. The creak of a wooden floor shifting under familiar steps. Affection rarely arrived in grand gestures. It showed itself in consistency. In the way someone always checked the window before night fully settled. In the way a plate was set out without needing to be requested. In the way my name was spoken gently when the air grew cooler and it was time to return home. There were evenings when I lingered longer than I meant to, watching the sky deepen, tracing the outline of trees against fading light. Even then, I felt no fear of being forgotten. I knew, in a way too simple to question, that someone would eventually step onto the porch or call softly into the dusk. That knowledge wrapped around me like an invisible thread, never pulling tight. Only reminding me where I belonged. Inside the house, small lamps created islands of warmth. The kitchen carried the fading scent of dinner. A clock ticked somewhere steadily, marking time without urgency. I would step across the threshold and feel the subtle shift from open air to enclosed shelter. Shoes removed. Hands washed. A familiar chair claimed for a few quiet minutes before bed. Sometimes I would sit close to my mother while she finished folding laundry, watching her hands move with practiced care. Sometimes I would lean against a parent's side while they read or listened to the radio, not needing conversation, only proximity. The comfort came not from grand declarations but from shared silence. I see now how these people formed the edges of my world. They were the horizon lines that told me where safety ended and where it began. Because they were steady, the road felt steady. Because they were present, even in quiet ways, the evening felt held. As I walk again in memory, I sense their presence around me like landmarks that do not fade. I do not need to see them clearly. It is enough to know they are there, anchoring the world with their routines, their patience, their unspoken care, and in remembering them, I understand something deeper. Their quiet attention did not vanish with time. It settled into me. It shaped the way I breathe when I am uncertain, the way I offer steadiness to others, the way I return to calm after a long day. Even now, as the evening darkens along this silent road, I carry their presence within me, steady, grounding, and warm. Even in that gentle world, I remember there was a quiet weight to reality. It did not arrive with noise or sudden change. It did not break the rhythm of the evenings or disturb the soft pattern of days. It existed more like a subtle pressure in the background, something I sensed without fully understanding. As a child, I could not name it, but I could feel it in the pauses between adult sentences. In the way certain topics lowered the volume of a room, I recall how sometimes the adults looked tired even when they smiled. Their expressions held warmth, but beneath it there was a thin layer of concern, like a cloud passing lightly over the sun. They counted money at the kitchen table with careful fingers. Coins lined up in small rows. Bills folded and refolded. The gestures were calm, deliberate, almost methodical. No one explained what was being measured or balanced, but I understood that these small rituals mattered. Some doors in the house remained closed in the evenings. Not slammed, not locked with force, just gently shut. Behind them were conversations spoken in low tones. I would pass by and hear only the murmur of voices, steady and serious. I did not feel excluded. I felt protected. The closed door was not a barrier against me, it was a shield placed between me and something heavier than I needed to carry. There were days when plans shifted quietly. An outing postponed. A purchase reconsidered. A sigh released before someone said, "Maybe later." I learned to accept these changes without protest, sensing that they were part of a larger pattern I did not yet see. The world beyond our silent road could be uncertain. Jobs could change. Weather could disrupt. News could bring stories of distant difficulties. These realities drifted in through radios and conversations, faint but present, yet even with that awareness, I remember how safety felt stronger than worry. The weight of reality never erased the warmth of evening light or the steadiness of familiar footsteps. It existed alongside them, not overpowering, but quietly shaping the way adults move through the day. I sensed that they carried more than I did. They held responsibilities I could not name. And because of that, the simple kindness they offered felt even more meaningful. On the road itself, between tall grasses and open sky, I felt the contrast most clearly. Out there, I could breathe without listening for the undercurrents of adult concern. The earth did not count coins. The wind did not whisper about bills or decisions. The horizon did not tighten with thought. It simply stretched, wide and accepting. My steps felt lighter, not because problems did not exist, but because they did not belong to me yet. I realize now that this balance shaped me. The awareness that life could be uncertain made steadiness more precious. The knowledge that adults sometimes worried made their laughter feel brighter. The understanding that some doors closed softly at night made the open road feel even more generous. As I walk again through this memory, I do not ignore that subtle weight. I acknowledge it gently, like noticing a stone in my pocket that I no longer need to carry. I see how the adults bore it quietly, how they absorbed its heaviness so that my evenings could remain calm. Their restraint was a form of love. Their careful counting, their measured conversations, their thoughtful pauses, all of it created a boundary around my childhood, keeping its center clear. The sky above the road deepens into a richer blue now. The first true shadows settle along the edges of fields. I breathe in slowly, recognizing that uncertainty has always been part of the world. And yet, so has care. So has protection. So has the steady rhythm of ordinary life continuing despite everything. In that realization, I feel something ease within me. The weight of reality no longer feels like a threat. It feels like a backdrop against which small moments of safety shine brighter. I understand that both have always existed together, the quiet concern and the quiet love, and as the evening grows still, I carry forward not the worry I once sensed, but the steadiness that surrounded it. I begin walking again, and this time I feel the story move with my steps. There is no sharp beginning and no defined destination. The road stretches forward in a patient line, and I follow it the way I once did, without counting the distance, without wondering how long it will take. My feet remember the rhythm before my thoughts do. Forward. And forward. And forward, the evening repeats itself in the familiar way it used to. The light thins gradually, as if poured from one color into another. The insects begin their soft hum, a steady undercurrent that fills the spaces between my breaths. Leaves whisper to one another high above, their movements subtle and continuous. Somewhere far off, a door closes gently. The sound is not loud enough to disturb the quiet. It simply marks another household settling into rest. I walk along the edge of tall grasses, watching how they bend and return. Their motion is never hurried. Even the wind seems to understand the pace of this place. It does not rush through. It moves in long, slow passes, brushing my arms, lifting the smallest strands of hair at my temples, then easing away again. The air feels balanced, neither too warm nor too cool, as if the day and night have agreed to share the sky for a little longer. There were nights when I walked this road quickly, chasing the last thread of sunlight before it disappeared. I remember the feeling of trying to outrun the dark, as if the final golden line at the horizon could be kept in place by my steps alone. Other nights, I wandered slowly, letting my thoughts stretch out like the long shadows cast across the ground. I would pause without reason. I would trace shapes in the dust with my shoe. I would stand still just to hear how quiet the world could become. The cycle always returned, day fading, night arriving, the world growing quiet, and me, still safe within it. I noticed now how steady that repetition was. No matter what the morning had carried, small frustrations, misunderstandings, scraped knees, unfinished tasks, the evening restored a sense of order. It did not erase the day, but it softened its edges. The sky seemed to say that nothing needed to be resolved before rest. That time would continue whether I worried or not. As I move forward, I feel that same reassurance settle into me. The road does not hurry me. It does not shorten itself out of impatience. It curves gently, revealing only what I need to see. The horizon remains distant but not unreachable. It exists simply to give my eyes a place to rest. My breathing aligns with my steps. Inhale, exhale, forward, forward. I sense how the rhythm steadies my thoughts. The repetition becomes soothing, like the ticking of a clock that marks time without demanding attention. I do not need to analyze the past or prepare for the future here. The road exists only in the present stretch of ground beneath my feet. The sky deepens another shade. The first faint stars begin to appear, barely visible at first, then clearer as the light fades. They do not rush into place. They take their time, arriving one by one, steady and unhurried. I remember watching them as a child, feeling both small and comforted at once. The vastness above did not frighten me. It felt protective, like a ceiling too high to ever press down. The sound of insects grows fuller, yet still gentle. It fills the quiet without overwhelming it. The houses behind me glow softly, their windows warm against the deepening blue. I know that inside, routines are unfolding, dishes being washed, blankets being folded back, quiet conversations winding down. The world continues its careful transition into night, and I continue walking, not because I must, not because I am searching, but because the movement itself feels like belonging. The road accepts each step without judgment. It does not record how fast I move or how often I pause. It simply supports me. In that simple support, I feel something inside me loosen, a tension I did not realize I was carrying. The night arrives fully now, but it does not feel like an ending. It feels like a gentle turning of a page. I remain within its calm, walking steadily, breathing evenly, knowing that this rhythm has always been there, waiting for me to return. I begin to notice the smaller details first, the quiet objects that once framed my evenings without asking for recognition. A smooth stone rests at the edge of the path, still faintly warm from the sun that touched it hours ago. I bend slightly and let my fingers brush its surface. The warmth has thinned but not vanished, and I remember how, as a child, I would collect such stones for no particular reason, slipping them into my pockets as if they were small. Steady treasures. A worn wooden fence appears ahead, its boards slightly uneven, its surface softened by years of wind and weather. I know this fence. My hands seem to remember it before my thoughts catch up. I reach out and let my palms settle against the wood. The texture is familiar, rough in some places, polished in others where countless touches have smoothed it over time. I used to lean here, balancing on my toes to look beyond it, imagining that the field stretching outward held secrets meant only for me. I pause there now, just as I once did, curious, unhurried, content to stand still. Beyond the fence, the land opens gently, not dramatic or wild, but wide enough to make me feel small in a comforting way. The horizon lies low and patient, the sky expanding above it like a quiet promise, and then, almost without warning, another memory threads itself through the evening. I remember walking back home at dusk, the sky painted in calm colors, pale lavender, soft blue, a fading trace of gold. The first lights appearing in distant windows. The hum of insects growing steadier. I remember the feeling that waited for me at the end of the road, a certainty so deep I never thought to question it. I was expected. I belonged somewhere warm. As I approach the memory of the house, I feel the shift from open air to shelter. The front steps creak slightly beneath my weight. The door opens with a soft sound, and the air inside carries the fading scent of dinner and clean linens. Lamps cast small circles of light that do not strain to brighten the whole room. They illuminate only what is needed. I see the bedroom as it once was, lit by a single lamp, its glow gentle and steady. The small bed waits near the wall, blankets folded back. The air is still, protected from the wind outside. I climb beneath the covers and feel their warmth wrap around me, holding the shape of my body as if they remember it. A parent sits beside me, not speaking much. Not offering long explanations or grand reassurances. Just present. Their hand rests on my shoulder, steady and warm. It smooths the blanket once, slowly, carefully, making sure I am comfortable. The gesture is simple, almost ordinary, yet it carries a message deeper than words ever could. I am safe. I am not alone. I am cared for. Outside, the wind brushes softly against the window. Inside, the room remains calm. I do not have to perform. I do not have to earn this moment. It is given freely, without conditions. Then I sense my mother's presence again, gentle and familiar. She moves quietly through the last motions of the evening. A drawer closed softly. A light dimmed in the hallway. She comes to sit beside the bed as if this has always been her place at this hour. Her hand rests lightly in my hair, moving slowly, carefully, each touch unhurried. There is no rush in her gesture, no impatience. Only steadiness. Her love does not demand anything in return. It does not measure me or test me. It simply exists, constant as breath, quiet as earth beneath the road. In that room, under that small circle of lamplight, the world feels complete. As I walk through this memory now, I realize that the warmth of that hand has never truly left me. It settled somewhere inside, becoming part of the way I understand comfort. Even as the years moved forward, even as the silent roads grew distant, that steady presence remained, and standing here again between fence and field, between memory and night, I feel that warmth rise within me once more, quiet, unwavering, and kind. The road carries me onward again, though now my steps feel softer, as if the ground itself has grown more forgiving beneath my feet. The night has deepened, yet it does not feel dark in a heavy way. It feels protective, like a wide blanket drawn carefully over the fields and rooftops. The edges of things blur gently. Sharp lines dissolve into calm outlines. I walk without strain, guided less by sight and more by memory. Ahead, an old tree rises from the quiet landscape. Its trunk is thick and steady, its bark patterned with the slow markings of years. The branches stretch outward and upward, balanced and patient. I have known this tree for as long as I can remember. It stood here through seasons of rain and long stretches of sun. It stood through my small changes, through the way my steps grew longer and my questions grew quieter. It remains exactly as it was, unhurried, untroubled by time. From one sturdy branch hangs a simple wooden swing. The ropes are worn smooth, slightly lighter in color where hands once gripped them. The seat moves faintly in the breeze, not pushed by force, only stirred by the smallest current of air. I step closer and feel the hush around it. Even the insects seem to soften their sound here, as if they understand that this place is meant for stillness. I reach out and steady the swing with one hand. The wood is cool now, no longer warmed by the sun. I lower myself onto it carefully, feeling the ropes hold my weight without complaint. For a moment, I sit completely still, my feet resting lightly against the ground. Then I press back just enough to set the swing into motion. Forward. And back, forward. And back. The movement is small, barely more than a gentle sway. It does not need to be higher. It does not need to be faster. The rhythm forms naturally, matching the pace of my breathing. Forward. And back, above me, the first stars shine clearly now. They appear one by one, steady and patient, each taking its place without hurry. The sky feels vast but not empty. It feels layered with quiet presence. I remember looking up at this same sky as a child, wondering about distances too large to imagine, yet feeling held rather than lost. The swing continues its calm arc. The ropes creak softly, a familiar sound that does not break the silence but blends into it. My hands rest lightly at my sides. My shoulders drop another inch. The tension I carried earlier begins to dissolve, not all at once, but gradually, like mist thinning as morning approaches. With each gentle motion, something inside me loosens, a worry I have been holding without noticing, a question I have been trying to answer too quickly, a memory that felt sharper than it needed to be. Forward and back, the tree stands steady behind me, its roots anchored deep in the earth. I imagine them stretching downward, weaving through soil and stone, holding firm no matter the season. That steadiness travels upward through the trunk, into the branch, into the ropes, into the seat that supports me. I am held not only by wood and fiber, but by years of quiet endurance. The night air brushes against my face, cool and even. It carries no urgency. It asks nothing of me. Somewhere far in the distance, a single light turns off in a house along the road. Another window darkens. The world is settling into rest, each small corner closing gently for the night. The swing slows on its own, forward. A little less, back. A little less, I do not push again. I let the motion fade naturally, trusting it to come to stillness without my effort. The ground waits beneath my feet. The tree remains steady above me. The stars hold their quiet places in the sky. In this pause, I realize that I no longer need to walk farther tonight. The road has already led me where I needed to be. Not to a destination marked on a map, but to a place inside me that remembers how to rest without question. I sit for a moment longer, breathing slowly, listening to the steady rhythm of the night. Nothing is chasing me, nothing is missing, nothing is required. The swing comes fully to rest, and I remain there, calm and supported. As the quiet deepens around me, the swing grows completely still beneath me. And for a moment I remain seated, my hands resting lightly against the ropes. The night has settled into its full depth now, yet it does not press against me. It feels spacious, like a room with high ceilings and open windows. The tree stands behind me, patient and unmoving, its presence steady enough that I do not need to turn around to know it is there. I place my feet flat against the ground and stand slowly. The earth feels cool but firm, supporting my weight without effort. I take a few unhurried steps away from the tree and look back once, not out of longing, but out of quiet acknowledgement. The swing hangs at rest, centered and balanced, as if it has always known how to return to stillness. The road lies beside me, pale beneath the starlight. It stretches forward and behind, yet I no longer feel the need to follow it in either direction. Earlier, walking felt necessary, like a gentle unfolding. Now, standing feels complete. The journey has softened into something internal, something that does not require distance to continue. Around me, the grasses move in small, steady waves. Their sound is barely more than a whisper, a brushing against itself. The insects maintain their soft chorus. Not louder, not quieter, just constant. Somewhere in the distance, a final door closes. A final lamp dims. The neighborhood has surrendered fully to rest, I notice how my breathing has slowed without my instruction. Inhale, exhale, pause. The rhythm is even, unforced. My shoulders rest naturally, no longer carrying the subtle tension I held at the beginning of this walk. My thoughts have thinned. They no longer crowd for attention. They drift like distant clouds, passing without casting heavy shadows. I realized that the road did not bring me back to a specific year or a precise memory. It brought me back to a feeling. A steadiness I once knew without effort. A safety that existed not because the world was perfect, but because I was surrounded by small, consistent care. The road reminded me of that simplicity, not to return to childhood, but to remember that the sense of being held has not disappeared. The night sky stretches above, layered with quiet light. The stars do not flicker urgently. They shine with calm persistence, as if they have all the time they need. I remember how I once counted them until my eyes grew heavy. I remember believing that they would remain in place no matter what happened below. That belief feels present again now, not as something naive, but as something grounding. I take one slow breath and let it fill my chest completely. Then I release it, feeling the air leave without resistance. There is nothing left to chase. No lesson to solve. No hidden meaning waiting at the next bend. The road has already given what it meant to give. In the distance, the outline of houses fades further into shadow. The fields darken into a single, unified shape. The tree behind me stands like a quiet guardian. Everything has settled into its proper place. I understand now that the silent roads were never about escape. They were about space. Space to think. Space to feel. Space to grow without being measured. That space still exists inside me. I can return to it whenever I allow myself to slow down, to breathe, to stand without needing to move forward. The air cools slightly against my skin, and I welcome it. It does not signal an ending. It signals rest. I remain where I am, grounded and calm. The road waits, but it does not call. The tree stands, but it does not lean. The night surrounds me, but it does not close in. Nothing is required now, nothing is unfinished, nothing is missing, and in this quiet completion, I feel myself soften completely, as if the world has exhaled and I am breathing with it. I feel myself being held, not by anything visible, not by hands or walls or even the tree behind me, but by something quieter and deeper. The steadiness of those evenings, the softness of lamplight, the gentle rhythm of footsteps returning home, they gather around me now like a familiar blanket. The silent road is no longer beneath my feet. It has shifted inward. It exists as a feeling I can return to whenever I need it. A place where nothing rushes me. A place where I am expected, not judged. My breathing slows again. Inhale, exhale. My body grows heavier in the best way, supported by the ground, supported by memory, supported by the quiet understanding that I have always carried this safety within me. The night does not close in. It wraps gently around me, and I let myself rest. Thank you for walking these quiet roads with me tonight, and for returning, for a little while, to the places that shaped us in silence. If this journey brought you a sense of calm or gentle recognition, you are welcome to like and subscribe, so these stories can continue to find you in the quiet hours. Sleep peacefully now. Carry with you the soft certainty that those childhood paths still exist somewhere within you, waiting patiently, unchanged, and always ready to lead you home.